guys. So today we're going to be talking about some long-term investments that we made that did not prove to give a return on it. And so we're talking about engagements that happened that didn't get a return on, that we didn't get a return on. We're going to talk about divorce and just some situations that we've been through that were long-term things in our lives that just didn't happen the way that we expected them to happen. You know, and you know what, as I say that, y'all, I think about one of my favorite movies, Love and Basketball. I just believe it's a classic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Love and Basketball, Sanaa Lathan says to him, this is after she comes back from playing overseas and she's working at a bank, and he's about to get married to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So they meet each other on the grass, and she walks up to him and she's like, you know what? When you're young, it doesn't cross your mind that your life isn't going to work out the way that you thought it would. It doesn't cross your mind because you're so in love. You're so, you know, it's like you picture your life. Listen, I used to have my wedding all planned out, who I was going to marry. I used to write his last name on the paper. Yeah, you used to do that. Write your name and his last name, you know, had it all planned out. And I was in a very long relationship, you know. I started dating this guy from high school, my senior year in high school. And our relationship officially didn't end till years. And I'm talking about maybe a couple decades. And you couldn't tell me I was going to do life without him. You could not tell me that we were going to have a life that did not include each other. You could not tell me that. But what I can say is the engagement was beautiful, right? So here's what happened. So there was this hotel that I loved and just opened up. They had just built it, and he knew that I loved that hotel. And so he told me one night, he was like, hey, I got to go pick up or go see my family. They're staying at that hotel. And I was like, oh, okay, let's go. Right. And so when we walked in, we were in the lobby of the hotel. And then he was like, well, while we're waiting on them to come downstairs, let's go walk out to the beach. Cause it was on the beach. So he's like, let's go walk outside. So I'm like, okay, you know, cool. And so we go walk outside. And we're walking on the beach or whatever. And I'm walking, of course, in front of him. And so he's lagging back. And then so when I turn around to see where he's at, I turn around and he's on his knees, you know, and then he says like everything that he got to say. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And it was really beautiful. So it was actually the most beautiful engagement, you know, moment. So that was good. But it just didn't go as planned. It just didn't go as planned. And you know, for a long time though, I hated that. For a long time, I was like, man, I invested so much.
I think that's all of us though.
Nothing in return. I got nothing. I think that's all of us
though.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just to kick off the conversation of long-term investments, whether in friendships or just in relationships general, right? Long-term investments that don't that nothing don't come out of it.
Yeah, especially too, like I was in a long-term relationship. We started dating my senior year, and you know, even after that, you know, we went separate ways as far as college, but we were still connected. You know, he was out of state, so I'm on a flight every other weekend or whatever. And you know, too, it's just we were just so good, like as friends, and we just had that vibe, you know what I mean? But on the outcome of it, he just wasn't good, y'all. He just was just, y'all, the sky will be orange. This man, to tell you, he was hard down on you and tell you that bitch green, dog.
And you believed him, Z, and you believed him every time.
Because I love him, guys.
Of course.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I think in that particular relationship that I was in, I mean, at the end of the day, of course, it made me and developed me into this woman that I am today, right? So I'm not going to go around and say that, you know, nothing came out of it. You know, as far as the relationship, nothing happened. But me personally, of course, when we go through these long-term things, and even short-term things, like these things change us. They, you know, build our characters. You know, they make us who we are, but I just don't like that sometimes we feel like we've wasted so much time.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's
then
true.
too, it's like, what do you do though? Like, how do you recharge? Do you just stay in the funk of, hey, I just wasted a whole bunch of time? Like, how do I can't even get this time back. Like, what do I do? How do I move forward? Like, what do you do?
Just
How do you
let it
recharge
go.
from that?
Just mentally let it go.
easy for me. Yeah, let
Yeah,
it
it's
go.
not easy.
Let it go.
It just wasn't easy for me. It
Yeah.
took me a while. Like I talked about in another episode, detox. I had to detox this person out of my system because you got to remember, like from high school to like what in my 30s, you know what I'm saying? This person was in every aspect of my life,
Right.
every aspect, family, like just every aspect. So it was for me. It just wasn't okay. Kareem decided to let go. Done. No, like it was a detox that had to happen in order for me to get him out of my system.
Right.
You know, and so it took a long time for me to do that.
Yeah.
What are 3 things, Kareem, you think you learned from that situation? Three things.
3 things that I think I learned from that situation. It's funny because the very first thing that I'm gonna say is what TD Jakes just talked about on Sunday. I always listen to his sermons on Sunday, and he said he was talking about glorifying the gift over the giver.
Oh,
and I think for me that was my number one thing that I learned is that never put anybody or anything before God in your life, because God will take it away. He don't play that.
Right.
He don't play that.
God
you
is a
can't put
God.
nothing before him. And I would say that it's not something that I intentionally did. I didn't intentionally put somebody before God.
Right.
But how I love is so much, so hardcore that I wasn't able to find a balance or find a way to just not put him first. Like I don't know if I can explain or if I'm explaining it right, but I could just say that the first thing I learned was glorifying the gift over the giver. Second would be never ignore my intuition. Like a woman's intuition is real.
It ain't gonna lie.
It's real.
It will not lie.
It won't lie. It won't.
It'll never let
but we
you
question
down.
it though.
No,
right.
like your intuition does not lie. God blessed us with that. We got a special Holy Spirit that tells women these things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that intuition is real. That's the Holy Spirit talking to. For me personally, I refer to it as the Holy Spirit. So
it's true.
That's 2 things. And the third thing I would say is that your friends, how you interact with your man around your friends and how you allow your friends to interact with your man.
That's right.
Is very important.
Oh yeah.
It's very important.
You just said a word.
Relationship, I learned that I got to be careful how much
share
time or how much space I give to my friends with him.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like, I mean, I was really naive back then. I used to if we were all at his house, I would leave or everybody would leave and my friend or, one particular friend or whatever would be left there with him and I would think nothing of it.
Yeah.
I would be okay with it. I would go home.
Yep.
And I would be like, oh, they're just chilling.
No, I'd be like, you need a ride? Do you need a ride?
You
No,
leave.
they not.
Come on, let's go.
And so now I know that if I leave,
you want to stay?
You leave.
You want okay? So I'm staying too.
There is
Okay.
absolutely no reason
okay.
that any woman, any friend of mine needs to spend any alone time with my man. There's no reason.
No,
it's no reason for
There's
that.
no reason.
Like,
So and that's generally speaking. That's generally speaking. But I just feel like I know better now how to handle that situation, just around friends and your man. Like I just wasn't aware. I was young. I wasn't aware of how to do that. And now I think I have a better understanding because like even my friends, if like, their boyfriend or whatever has to come to my house to pick up something or whatever situation, right? Last time it happened, I was like, I'm on the phone with you until he leaves. Like we don't, hey, he's here. As soon as he leaves, you either gonna get a text that he's gone or we're gonna be on the phone until he's gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just out of respect. You know, it's just out of respect. So I just operate and move a little differently now when it comes to friends and and your man.
And because of the experience that you've gone through, I mean, you're more mature when it comes to that stuff too. So you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So that's good though. That's real good.
True.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
So what about y'all?
I pretty much feel the same way. You know, I was in a long-term relationship, probably anywhere from 10 to 12 years. We lived together, you know. We made some investments together, and at the end it was like, this is it. 10 years I wasted. That's how I felt then. But now the older you get, the more you heal, you know, the more you become into yourself, and you grow and you learn. You know, I had to date them. I had to
go through that. Yes.
Right.
I had to go through. You right, Aisha.
Yeah.
Right.
Jamal
I
Bryant.
look at it as that.
I agree.
I like that. I like that.
Jamal Bryant preached a sermon, and he said, he preached a message. You had to date them. You had to be with them. You had to sleep with them. You had to go through,
because they were the lesson for you. They were the lesson. You had to learn from that.
Exactly.
Yep.
Listen, if I didn't go through that breakup, that freaking crashed my world.
Yeah.
Okay. If I didn't go through that, I don't think I would have started my businesses, gone back to school. Like my life would have been different.
We would have been friends.
Changed, bruh.
We would have been friends.
When that
happened. Wouldn't have known you.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
we would have been friends.
Wouldn't have recognized
totally
you in the street.
changed. Like I became this freaking, I don't even know what to call me. Like I just became this boss. You know, I totally developed out of that relationship. This thing inside of me just broke open. You know,
that's what needed to happen though.
Yeah, this is the last thing I'm gonna say too before we close this out is that Sarah Jakes preached a message, and she said, I have it up on my wall. She says, you know, they threw stones at you, but what they did was they cracked open your oil.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's what he did for me. He cracked open my oil. Because what came out of me after that,
I hope he watches this episode and slips and falls on the oil and bump his big behind head on the doggone concrete.
I don't wish nothing bad. No. We cool to this day. I mean, we cool. Like I just, you know, text him. We cool. Let me rephrase that before anybody say nothing. I didn't just text him. No, what I'm saying is we can text and it be cool. Like it could be strictly no malice, there's no bad nothing, there's no bad nothing.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Like I felt like
all good.
Years ago when I saw him just in passing on the street, it was like I literally was like, man, I didn't say this, but in my mind I'm like, you know what? Thank you. Because if it wasn't for what I went through with you, I would not be
the
woman that I am today.
I am today. Yes.
I'm not saying I ever want to go through it again. But what I'm saying is because I did go through it, it made me into this beast right here. And I love her. I love her. Like I love this woman that I am today.
That's right. Absolutely.
But he can still slip and fall on the oil. That's fine.
Stop.
Well, we talking about the holy oil. You know,
yes.
Fall on that holy oil now.
No way.
But see, me and mine, we can't talk.
Oh, y'all can't talk. That's just over with. That's just done.
I ain't mad, baby. Listen, I ain't mad at you. You know, ain't no hard feelings. I done forgave you, but no. And it's sad that the saddest part is that you spend all these years with this individual, right? You spend all these years with this person. This person knows you like from front to back. And then when the breakup comes, you can't even be cordial. You can't even be friends with them.
You know what, guys? I disagree. I'm cool with all my exes.
Every last one of them.
And it's not that we not cool. It's just I know they evil. And that's it. Nothing else.
Okay, so then there's just two situations there. Now, if that person, you know, is just an evil person and just a bad person, then there's no reason for us to be
their
cool.
intentions not right.
Right.
Their
Yeah, that's
when
something
your
different.
intentions, when you don't have the right intentions, and I know you coming with a motive, I can't roll with that.
Now that I can agree
So
with. You don't need to be fooled with them anyway.
But if the person just wasn't for you in your season,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And they not necessarily a bad person, then whatever. You know, we vibe.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
Yeah.